Good evening. It's 8 p.m. It is the 18th day of 2021. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. Not surprisingly, I got controversial and lost subs. Oh, did I hurt your little feelings? I'm sorry. I'm not going to stop. Okay, so it's Mega Power March, which means every chance we get, we're going to shine a light on my beloved superhero role playing games, a genre that just doesn't get as much love as it should. OGGM, why are you doing this so late? I had a very busy day, but you don't really want to hear about my adventures. You want to hear me talk about gaming stuff. I guess. I actually don't know what you want. So it's time once again, as I have so many times in the past, but I can't not do Mega Power March and not talk about the third greatest superhero role-playing game. Or the worst superhero role-playing game, depending upon your point of view, and that is Heroes Unlimited from Palladium. I have said time and time again how much I love this game, but also it is a disaster. It is a beautiful disaster. It has so much potential to be an amazing role-playing game, and yet it's hard to explain when you look at any Palladium product, but especially, any of the rule books. I mean, their source books are amazing. Palladium products are great source books. I mean, the Rifts books, source book wise, are amazing. All the stuff they've done, their fantasy book stuff is amazing. Heroes Unlimited, Villains Unlimited, Powers Unlimited are great source books that you could mine, but as an actual system, unless you've seen it, I can't really explain it. I know I've tried, and I know other people who tried. In fact, Heathen Dog just did a whole thing last weekend about ninjas and super spies, and the best way to describe Heroes Unlimited and Palladium product in general is like, at some point, they just went, it's good enough. Let's get it out there. When you look at it and you're like, if this just had like one more round of editing, maybe another round of playtesting, maybe if the order of the way things are in the book actually made sense, it would have done better, because it has the potential to be an amazing role-playing game. I mean, Heroes Unlimited has the potential to be an amazing superhero role-playing game. The amount of research and detail they've given to each and every section, from the super spy and bionics section, to the robotics section, to the psionics and magic section, to the actual superpowers, is just, I don't know of any other game. I mean, there might be. GURPS comes close. There might be games that have done as much actual just, figuring this amount of detail as these guys have. As I've said time and time again, no matter what superhero game I'm running or playing, I will crib the description of the powers from Heroes Unlimited, because they actually go in step by step what you can and can't do with each individual powers. And like I used an example recently, I mean, we've all played superhero games. Inevitably, there's a guy with ice powers, and he wants to know if he can use his ice powers to make ice cubes in his drink, or do all the other stuff you see Icemen do in the cartoons. Can I make a snowman? Can I make snowballs? Can I make an ice slide? Can I do all the things I've seen? Can I make ice cream? And, you look at like any other superhero role-playing game, and it just says, like ice powers 3d6 for an extra 5 points. You can buy the Entangle. It doesn't really differentiate from anything else. It just reads like a spell in D&D. But in Heroes Unlimited, they actually go into each and every possible scenario you could do with ice powers and flame powers and the earth powers and the insect control powers and the animal control powers. Everything you could possibly think of, they tried to cover, including how much ice cubes you could actually make and whether you can or cannot make ice cream. Or like the flame power guy, can I actually cook a turkey on Thanksgiving with my flame powers? And they actually give you the level of heat you would need to make a turkey cook with your flame powers without burning it. And they do that for almost all the powers. So just as a source book for superheroes, and that just goes for all their games, amazing. Just the amount of work that would go into the amount of research, because you had to research how hot something has to be and how long something has to be, or how cold something has to be and how long it has to be, and how many, do the math of how many ice cubes per hour, and then break it down into game terms so you can actually go, okay, endurance times 10 or whatever. That's just mind-boggling. That's just amazing. But then when you actually look at the game and you're like half the rules are here, then you have a chunk of something else. Then another half of the rules, and then a chunk of something else. And then third half of the rules, and then more. And you're just like, this makes no sense. This is so badly organized. This is so badly edited. It is painful to try and piece together the rules, and then and then like halfway through the game, you just cut and paste from another product. And like, oh, look, here's your rules on weapons, which you've repeated hundreds and hundreds of times. Like, and here's artwork you've used 10,000 times. And here's descriptions you've used before. And then, and just like, could be great. Heroes Unlimited, all Palladium game products could be great if they just had been edited one more time and maybe play tested another couple days. But it's like they put it together and they're like, yeah, this is good enough. And they put it out there and they're like, oh, well, we only sold 10 and the other guy sold 100. But we sold 10. We can reprint it and do Heroes Unlimited number 2 and just copy and paste the same thing. We don't have to actually change anything. Here's Unlimited number 2. And you're like, it's got the same problems. And like, yeah, but we sold 10. We're okay. We can just now do 10,000 Rifts products and constantly just reprint the same 3 things over and over and over again. We never actually have to do anything because I don't know why I'm talking like this. But it's like, yeah, it's good enough. Get out of the printing. I did as well as I could. I've only got like half a hand. I don't know. I'm talking like this. But it just feels like they just went, it's good enough. And gave up. When you look at it and you're like, this could be great. If it was organized and less complicated and just a little bit more, just a smidge of editing, it would rate in the top 5 of best superhero role-playing games ever. And possibly their other games would rate much higher. Their fantasy game, Rifts, of course, the Robotech license, which they lost, their other lesser-known game, like Night whatever it was, and Splicers, and Ninjas and Super Spies, and their space game, and of course the Mechanoids. God, the Mechanoids alone was just great, and you always wish they'd done something more with the Mechanoids, but then they're just like, it's good enough. And technically, Palladium still makes things. You still see ads for them. They still keep their stuff in rotation enough so they don't lose the copyrights, except, of course, Robotech, which they dropped the ball on. But you just like... So I can't say that I've said it 100 times before. I can't say enough good things about the amount of research, the amount of effort, the amount of information for that. Just the section on super spy gadgets and vehicle building and magic and psionics and mutations, and just so much great work that can just be mined and cribbed for other games. Like, if I ever play another superhero game or run another superhero game, I'll be sure that whatever powers, if I can crib them from Heroes Unlimited, I will. Even if they don't fit the system, I'll still use the descriptions because they're just so good. Now, I'm not saying there aren't other games that do that. I'm just not aware of them. If you are, please let me know. But for, with GURPS is a close second, but for Palladium, just mountains and mountains of information. But editing and just amount of actual detail and just sections where they just cut and pasted things from other games where they should have just taken that 5 extra seconds to make something different. that's where they fall short. Would I recommend getting it? Yes, of course I would. I think I've said that. Even if you never use it, it's a great reference book. All their stuff is great reference books. If you have the room, get them. Don't pay full price for them. But, I'm sure you can find them in a used bin or a marked off bin. Like I picked up another copy of Heroes Unlimited recently because mine was falling apart because I go through it so many times for like $8. And that's normally like 25. So, yeah. Can't say how much I love Heroes Unlimited and all the stuff Palladium have done over the years. Don't know why they dropped the bomb on the Robotech license, but I hear the new version of Robotech is much better. But then that's Robotech's a completely different story. They should, and the Mechanoids. I mean, God, the Mechanoid was just great. I love the Mechanoids trilogy. Rifts was just a mind fuck. Palladium Fantasy is interesting. Splicers and Night, whatever their horror game was, are very good and different and weird. And Heroes Unlimited is just great. It's just great. Other than the fact that it's terrible. Yeah. So if you appreciate this content, please let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 500 subs by August 4th. If you're planning on unsubscribing, like the 2 people who just unsubscribed, let me know why. Because it's fine if you're angry at me, but let me know why you're angry at me. Because I can't fix it if you idiots don't tell me what's broken. Now get off my lawn.